What's happening, everyone? Dwayne here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how to change a flat tire on the fly when you're out there either stuck on the road and you don't have another cyclist with you to help you out. So you'll be surprised how many cyclists are out there who are new or even advanced who just don't know how to change an inner tube when they get a flat tire. And so I'm here to help you out with that. This video is not going to be as sexy as my other videos that you may see on this channel, but it's a great how-to video for those who are new or even advanced in the sport. So I'm going to be sharing with you the tools that's needed for a road bike and how to get the wheel off and how to pop a fresh tube in there. So as you can see, I already have my front wheel has a flat. I'm going to just take it off. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get into it. The first things first is being able to get your wheel off. So it's important that you know what style setup you have for your wheels to get the wheel off. These are quick release through axles, and they also have through axles that are threaded on that you will need a tool in order to get it off. So with the quick release, which is what I have, I'm going to show you how to get it off. But it is important to know that in order for you to change your inner tube, you have to get this wheel off. You can still pop the inner tube out if you are unable to get the tire off or the wheel off, but you're just going to be able to patch it. You won't be able to actually change the inner tube. So first thing is first is the required tools. So I carry this little canister with me. Sometimes I carry it in my jersey pocket, and inside of here I have a few things. At the basic level is a little rubber band with a patch in my inner tube kit. So there's a few different style of inner tubes out there. There's latex tubes and there's full rubber tubes, which is what I have in here now, and you'll see that just in a bit once I get this wheel off. And I also have a CO2 cartridge and adapter along with a tire lever. So I'm just gonna go ahead and undo all this and show you what I got. So first things first is what's going to be needed once we get the wheel off. That's your inner tube. This is going to be super important. This is a nice lightweight foldable latex tube, which is really good to have if you're a road cyclist. These are sort of new to the market, I'd say. It's just a little bit lighter than a rubber tube, and it folds up nice and easy in your jersey pocket. So it's personal preference whether you want to use a latex one or a rubber one. Secondly, to get the tire off, you're going to need a nice, strong, and durable tire lever. I really like the Pedro levers. I swear by these, and they're extremely durable. So I highly recommend picking up a pair of these. And typically, you want to carry two with you. I know I only have one inside of my kit because I have another one that goes in my gravel bike kit. But you definitely want to carry two just in case. It's hard to get that tire off sometimes. And then I have one CO2 cartridge. This is a 16 gauge. And a CO2 adapter. These are just really easy to inflate your tire once it's time to get air into the bike when you install your inner tube. So I like to use this, and it's really quick and easy. You just screw it on all the way, make sure the engagement is all the way tight, and you put it on the valve of your wheel where you put the air inside the inner tube, and then just basically turn this back. And it basically it releases a lot of the compressed air out of the canister into the actual inner tube itself, and it works really quickly, and you'll be back on the road in no time. And then if you don't have something like this, you have something like this, a mini pump. And I swear by this. This is the Toe Peak Race Rocket HP, which is pretty sweet. I've had this for the better part of 4 years now, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to carry a mini pump with you. This is super small, and what I like about it is that the actual gauge itself is a Presta and Schrader valve. And on your bike, I'm gonna get a little closer so you can see this. Most road bikes carry what they call a Presta valve, which is just a smaller valve for you to connect your pump to. And then some have Schrader valves, which you would see on an older style BMX or mountain bike. So you can screw that on there and have your versatility with these types of pumps. So these are basically the tools that you would need in order to get your bike back on the road. So again, mini pump, tire lever, CO2 cartridge and CO2 adapter, and your inner tube. This is a latex one, and I'm going to show you the rubber one in just a bit. So let me show you how to get this wheel off and the differences between a through axle and a regular axle that might be threaded that you would need a tool for. Okay, so here we have the front wheel that's basically flat. You can see there's no air inside of here. And this is my fork, and this is my through axle that has a quick release. This is the quick release here. Now what I do to get this wheel off is basically release the quick release by just pulling it outward away from the fork. And basically what you want to do is hold one side and then unscrew the other side until it passes out the clamp of the fork. Once you do that, you lift the wheel up out the fork and basically the wheel comes off. Now this is my other bicycle that doesn't have a quick release. This is a full-on through axle that threads from one side to the other side. And as you can see, this is going to require an Allen key in order for you to get the wheel off, which I will show you what that looks like. Alright, so I have my bike upside down and my wheel off the fork. And in a real world situation, you're not going to have a bike rack at the ready for you to clamp your bike to, so you're just going to have it upside down on the ground or laid flat in the grass or something so that it doesn't fall over. Now what you want to do in order to get this tire off of the bead of the rim, you want to be able to push it off with your hands. So simply, this is a hooked rim, and what that means is that it just clamps on to the actual bead of the tire, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a bit. But what you want to do to release that is just push away from the actual rim, and you'll kind of hear those pop noises sometimes as you go around, and that just means that it's being released from the actual hook of the rim itself. Now you'll know it's released once you're able to see inside the wheel, and basically you'll be able to see that I have my rim tape in here that's blue, and that's an indicator that you're good to go with taking this tire off. So the next step is to take your tire lever, and you're gonna see that there's a hooked piece of the tire lever itself, and that's what you want to hook and clamp underneath the tire. And when you do that, you have a surface that it leans on, which is the sidewall of the rim itself. Let me get a little closer so that you can see that. So all I'm doing is taking this hook piece and I'm putting it underneath. I'm pushing away the tire here, and I'm putting it underneath it to pull the tire over the rim, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is begin to pull toward me. You can do it in either direction depending on how you want to do it. It's personal preference. And as you do that, the tire begins to come off of the rim. Now in order to get the actual inner tube out, what you want to do is just release the little nut here that attaches to the valve and pull back the tire. You can just kind of pull out the inner tube around the rim and then pull back that tire where the valve is, and boom. That's what I like to do. Keep the other side on, especially if you don't plan on changing the tire, and then just slide your finger in here. You might want to use gloves, but what I like to do is just check slowly if there's any issues with a thorn or piece of metal that might be stuck in the tire tread itself, to make sure that you don't get any pinch flats. So this is good to go. And what we want to do is set this aside right here. You can leave it on your bike. And what I like to do is just swap out the entire inner tube itself. Some people like to patch them. I used to patch them back in the day, but you know, on a road ride, time is everything. So you just want to basically dispose of this, I like to just like take all the air out and stuff it in my jersey pocket or inside my little tube that I had on my bike and my water bottle holder and my little canister. And you'll be back on the road in no time. You don't want to just like leave it on the ground. That's littering, obviously. So again, now there's two different types of tubes. There's these like nice foldable latex ones that you can use, or you can use another rubber tube, and you can obviously see the difference in terms of volume, right? This is much smaller than this rubber one. So anyway, from here, we're going to pop a fresh rubber tube back into the wheel, and I'm gonna save this for a later emergency in any event I get another flat. So as you can see, that's the valve hole right here. You wanna basically go ahead and just make sure you pull that away, the tire, so that that's exposed. Once that's exposed, you simply take this valve right here and then feed it through like so, and lift it right on over and tuck it inside. Now another thing I want to mention too is with these valve cores, you want to make sure your valve core is long enough to fit past your actual rim. Now in this case, these are 60 millimeter dish wheels. The rim itself is 60 millimeters in depth. So that means in order for me to clear that 60, I like to get 80 millimeter long valve cores. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. Depending on the depth of your rim, you want to get something that can accommodate the length to pass through there. Now again, to get this on, you just want to go ahead and feed it around inside of your rim, and you'll be surprised. Like, I fix so many cyclists that I ride with tires when they get flats on the fly, because some of them just can't do it. It's really hard sometimes to get tires off of rims, and every tire is going to be different. So if you have a rim that's super hard to get off the tire, it's a nightmare. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead now and just try to get this tire on the actual rim itself and seat it by putting air inside. So to get it on the rim, you want to go ahead and just simply push it on, and you do that all the way around the wheel. And once you get to the center on each side, you flip it around and you finish it just like so. Now some tires, once you get to the end point right here, it can be quite hard to get the actual rest of the tire onto the rim. But if you play with it enough and make sure that tire is in the center of the rim, it just makes it a little bit easier to get it on, and it should pop on with no issue. So I'm gonna try and do that on my end, and it looks like it's gonna go on. Sometimes you might need a tire lever to get in there to pop it on, and you reverse it, but I personally don't like to do that. If you massage the tire on to the center of the rim itself, you should be able to pop that tire on here. Now if you're at home and you're doing this, obviously you want to go with something like this. This is a floor pump. This can pump up to 220 psi relatively quickly. So I highly recommend a floor pump. This is by Lazine. It's the Macro Floor Drive. Really solid pump. I've had it for a couple of years now. And this is my mini pump that I carry with me on all of my rides. This is the Toe Peak Race Rocket HP for high power. And yeah, it's optimized for road, but I use it for my gravel bike as well. And again, super easy, super lightweight to carry in your jersey pocket. And in addition to that, I always carry one CO2 cartridge and one CO2 adapter that screws right on. And I carry this in my jersey pocket or my container. So in every tire, there's gonna be a PSI rating. So this one has up to 95 PSI. So if you spin your tire around, you'll be able to see where you can get the max pressure. And you don't want to exceed that number that's going to be on your tire. So I'm gonna pump mine up to 90 PSI. The max is 95 PSI. All right, so we're gonna begin to pump air in here. All right, there we go. And then we're just gonna go ahead and release this by pushing this in. popping it off, and I'm going to screw on the rest of the valve at the end of the core, and that's it. I'll just go ahead and pop this onto the fork upside down, and basically all I'm going to do is screw this back onto the wheel, and all I'm going to do is basically now just screw this back onto the fork, and you want to tension it enough where it's not too tight as a grip, but you want to make sure it's center onto the fork, and tighten it back, and we're good to go. And that about wraps it up on how to fix a flat when you're out on the road and swap it with a new inner tube. I left all the tools that I use in this video along with parts in the description below. Now, if you have any questions whatsoever, just drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. You already know what to do. I hope this video offered you enough value for you to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.